Cozza, very
Mate, you've
good
come
morning
out
to you.
hot, ripping and tearing blue pills with Murdoch. Boy, oh boy, what a weekend you've had.
And you've just walked in and said, what are we talking about today? Right there. Where do we start? Well, let's start with the Blues.
Yes.
Now, let's pop some of that. James Tedesco.
Yeah.
Are you okay with him coming in to play State of Origin for New South Wales?
Well, clearly the rules don't stipulate through the origin period, does it not? I'm not 100% on that, Ben, to be fair.
He had to get clearance from the boards.
So the fact that he's got clearance, and of course he was going to get the green light once that was given, he was able to play. But you're right, if it was clubland, not happening, which is why teams are required to give their team lists on a Tuesday, and it's an extended squad, and then they trim that down at the latter part of the week to then have an 18. New South Wales, terrible news for Dylan Edwards, I must say. I mean,
I'm just trying to look at either side of your face. See if there's a tongue planted inside your cheek there.
I firmly mean that. I mean, this guy's been one of the best in the last 4 years. His credentials speak for itself. It finally come. The opportunity was there, and he does a quad strain. So terrible news for Dylan Edwards. Off the back of that, you raise a really good point. James Tedesco comes into the side after he was dropped out of the side. Captaincy's taken off him. If they do go ahead and brain it, that's a big if, well, what happens? I expect Dylan Edwards to come straight back into the team, and you would expect that is the case because he was picked first. If he's fit and raring to go game 2, that he'd come straight back in. But we'll wait and see what unfolds there. So would have been an awkward conversation, but hey, listen, it's a business. You're dealing with grown men.
How do you reckon that conversation goes? Madge giving,
I reckon, very simple. The first phone call would have been difficult. Very you've been a great servant, captain, etc. We're going a different direction. By all reports, he was very humble in that. First one to call Dylan Edwards and let him know and. Wish him all the very best. And I think the second phone call that he would have got from Madge Maguire would have been, hey, Teddy, doing anything next Wednesday? Because we may need you.
Hang on.
You're not going to turn that down, by no means.
Doing anything tomorrow? Yeah, I'm playing. I'm supposed to be playing for the Roosters, mate.
True,
Why? What have you got?
Well, I've got someone's gone down at training. Are you a chance? So it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, there's always, and this is what obviously creates the hype of the game. We had the obligatory bug or illness that went through. Only Harry Grant was the only one that got that. And New South Wales, yeah.
Cozza, jog my memory. I'm trying to remember if there's been a Queenslander that's gone down in State of Origin where, with an injury during camp and someone's had to call. I'm sure there has been. We've had players come in under an injury cloud that have that someone's been on standby and has been inside the camp. But I'm trying to remember, and I'm sure that actually I'll put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there because
13, 55, and I should know. I mean, I covered them. I'm just trying to remember the ones where Queenslanders had to call out to clubland to bring someone in at the last minute or the 11th hour.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I mean, the most famous one was again from the Blues in 2006. Brett Finch was in a pub having a drink because he had a week off, and then at the captain's run, Joey's gone down and needed a half. I remember meeting the New South Wales team bus the day before the game, and they've had to get a new halfback.
Alfie Langer return? Was that due to injury or Wayne just desperate?
No, but
that was from
game. That was from the start. He was picked in the team. He was named.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
13 55 0467 736 736. James Tedesco insists that he doesn't have a point to prove.
I don't think that's my mentality, no. I think my mentality is doing what's best for the team, playing my best footy and creating the win. That's the most important thing for me. So we're at home, our first game here. It's really important to win the first game and get off to a good start. And that's definitely my goal at the moment.
Cozza is saying all the right things. But
what is he supposed to say? Honestly, come on, let's call a spade a spade. What is he supposed to say? Yeah, I'm out there to prove a point and shove it up their blurter. No, it's not the case. He's going to go out there and do what he can do.
And he's going to go out there and prove a point,
which is what he has done for the last 22 games straight. This will be his 23rd appearance for New South Wales straight. Every time he's gone out there. Whether you got an opinion on James or not. Now, I was in Dylan Edwards' corner. Don't get me wrong, but James you got to pay him the respect and the appreciation that he deserves in that arena. I just thought it was a really good opportunity to go a different direction, which they clearly did, but now they've gone back with James. I don't think he has to prove anything other than go out there and fulfil his role.
No, he doesn't have to. But human nature suggests that he will.
Well, the narrative gets written that, right? Like if James goes out there and he's one of the,
right.
what do you like? He's playing Origin. He's going to try and beat Queensland. Be no different to anyone in Queensland who recall back into the team. If if Jaden Sewell goes down in the captain's run and Dave Fafita gets pulled into the team, does he have a point to prove?
Hell yes.
Well, he just goes out there and does his job, does he not?
Human
He
nature.
wants to win.
You mightn't think it, but it's sitting there in the back of your mind going, I should have been here from the start. Well, and here's my chance to prove. Did James Tedesco not have a point to prove playing the Cowboys? How do you run out yesterday? I mean, that was...
Of course you got a point to prove, but James Tedesco's form has been... Like, if he was way out of form, it'd be a different story, but his form's been high, so he couldn't have done any more. It was just a complete different change and a different tact. No, it doesn't. It's just a complete different tact and change from the coaching staff and which way they wanted to go. It doesn't mean you weren't any good, clearly, because he's back into the team.
We've had a text come through, 16290, Modder. Ronaldo, Mulatalo.
The Kiwi, the flying Kiwi.
That wasn't on the day of the game, though.
No.
Okay, so the text says, withdrawn on the day of the game in 21. Coates called in from Melbourne. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the day of the game.
It was a little bit of embarrassment on Queensland's behalf.
He was named.
They named him, and then I don't think it was the day of the game that they pulled him out and went, oh, hang on a minute, he's actually a Kiwi. But he played junior Queensland. So anyway.
But I like it. Keep them coming through. 13 13 55 0467 736 736. Been a bit loose to start, Cozza, but let's nail it down.
You started off with a blue pill and Rupert Murdoch. That was loose. Anyway, play on. 6 again.
93 years of age and married for a fifth time. What's going on?
Love is love, Ben.
Me think it amazing.
I see. I wanted to get serious, and all of a sudden you've mentioned Rupert again, but that's okay. Okay, in all seriousness, though.
Yep.
Teddy, point to prove, whatever.
Yep.
He's back in.
Yep.
I reckon Queensland should be a little bit afraid because of all that.
I don't reckon Queensland will change their approach at all based on whether it was going to be Teddy at fullback or whether it's going to be Dylan Edwards. You got to, and Billy's echoed this before, you got to give them the respect. You got to do your due diligence on the side that they have. Once that's done, then you got to firmly sort of look, internalise yourself on what we want to do. It's a tough place to go down there and win. It's just traditionally that their statistics played down there. I've won down there before. It's difficult. It is difficult. It's so important to try and get that first victory.
Why? Why is game one so important?
Well, statistics over a long period of time have said if you win game one, you've got a higher chance of them winning the series. Now, it's not always the case, but if they can go down there and disrupt what's already been a disruptive lead-up to some degree, well, pressure does strange things. So,
well, then the pressure's all on New South Wales,
correct.
Isn't it? In their backyard, in front of their home fans, and that pressure to win game one. Talk through that, Cozza, because you would have been playing at Suncorp Stadium game one. The pressure's on. You've got to win it. You've got to win it, as you said, because the statistics say you win game one, you normally go on to win the series.
Well, both teams are going there obviously to win. That's the short of it all. The difficult thing is combinations play a factor. New South Wales have got 6 debutants in their team, 5 now. Queensland are very settled, not too much disruption in regards to what we've had. If you can go down there and get that victory and build on it throughout the series, because you see game one as a spectacle as opposed to game 3 as a spectacle. Traditionally, game 1 is really sort of dour, through the middle, tight, real low score line. Game 3, very different. You start to get a bit of an understanding of what's each other and combinations, and the game can be sort of a lot freer. So huge emphasis, and which is why I suppose we've seen New South Wales pick that style of football and those players that they have in their football side based around game 1. I expect a different team to be picked by game 3 in New South Wales. and potentially even Queensland. So we'll wait and see, but it's a tough road trip. It really is. It's a daunting experience. It's one of those experiences. It's a great experience. 85,000 people, majority of them going for the Blues.
So we'll take us inside then as a player, as a Queensland player. If the first game is in New South Wales, do you feel a little less pressure the pressure's there to win? We know that, but you just go, well, it's down there. It's in their backyard.
No, the pressure of State of Origin is immense.
Yeah,
regardless of where it's
Does
played.
it ramp up having to win that first game at home?
Well, playing at home is such a benefit to whichever team. It is so big, and it has such an advantage playing at home. But on the flip side, if I've won in New South Wales before, and it's so what's the word? It's so the victory and silencing the crowd, 85,000 is pretty cool.
Very cool indeed. It was something that was put to Ruben Cotter over the weekend. How do you take the crowd out of the equation?
I think we use it to fuel our own game. We spoke a lot about our energy, and playing down there, it's so loud, and you can sort of just use that to fuel your own energy. So that's been part of the conversations we've had, is just embracing it.
So he makes a really good point there. So loud. So when you've got a team that is so stable, for a better word, with the Queenslanders, they've had that nucleus together for a period of time. Sometimes that's all you need, is a look or a nod or an understanding to go, well, okay, this is what we're going to do because we're right across everything. If you have a little bit of doubt and you cannot hear, I repeat, like if anyone's been to an Origin match, whether it be at Suncorp or down there at Accor, the noise is deafening. So to think that you're going to hear a teammate 15 metres away, no, you're wrong. It's not happening. So a lot of it is body language. A lot of it is just understanding, okay, this is the set we're going to do here. We're not going to deviate from it. This is what we're going to do, really right across. So there's the pressure. Pressure and obviously trying to execute a play, execute your best run, your best tackle, whatever it may be. But also the pressure of understanding what we're trying to achieve as a team, what is required right here, right now, because you do not get a chance to be able to relay messages. Once that whistle goes, it's game on.
All right. Well, let's go back to Tedesco on that. He's got under 2 training sessions to familiarise himself with Hines, Luai and Robson as players he has played with, once before?
Well, you also got to understand, new coach. So they'll have I would think, a complete new regime of style of play. I don't think they would have had the Freddie Fittler mould of attack as opposed to Madge Maguire mould of attack.
I've seen them wear shoes at training, the New South Welshmen, so that's the Earth thing is no longer there.
There's a lot of things they're doing at the moment that you sort of go, ooh, like they're big ticks in my book, as opposed to wearing shoes and earthing, and that's great. That's a Freddie thing. But, yeah, no, you're right. Teddy will come in there. I mean, look, he's a professional. He's an Australian captain. He'll fast-track his way through what needs to happen. Generally, game one again, there's not too much complexity about what they're doing. It'll be really simple style of football.
13 13 55 0467 736 736. That's the Alltel open line, Better Business Solutions. Do you have any fears, Queensland fans? Do you have any fears now that Teddy's back, that the fact that game one is in Sydney, or maybe you're thinking, does size matter? Because with New South Wales, they've got a big pack compared to ours. Cozza is here to answer all your questions. He is here to put your mind at ease, and has even got a theory about what should happen during that Origin period in Clubland. 13 13 55 0467 736 736. 20 past 9. We are off and running this Monday in Origin week. The countdown to Origin 1 is on. Why does club footy continue during Origin? Because we're robbing our club teams of our best players. And as we saw over the weekend, 5 games. If you've tipped
I'm 0
winner
from 5.
There you go.
None from 5.
Shane Webke's the same. Gilly got 1, and that was Para over the Sharks. That was early on. So you're not Robinson Crusoe there,
right?
Okay, so there's the argument straight away. Do we suspend club footy while the rep players are away? I say no.
Okay. So I've had a couple of bold ideas on this show and I've been crucified from different stages time to time, which is fine. I'm happy to get a little shorten up by the punters. But I honestly think there's an opportunity for the game to split the season up. Now, just to give an overall, the broadcasters pay a lot of money, and part of that deal means there must be football on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Weekly content.
X amount of games, etc. I get it. Tick, tick, tick. I think there's an opportunity from rounds 1 to 13 that teams play for 2 points as per normal. When the Origin series starts, which is where we're at right now, coming in around 14, to round 21, so that's a 6-week period there. So you'd stop from round 14 to round 20, round 21 Origin players back. Through that 6-week period, you play whatever you want. You play for aggregate points, whatever, but there's pressure's taken off the clubs, feeling as though they need to play their players and get their players to back up after Origin. It takes the pressure off the players through that mid part of the year who are doubling up with their workloads. So because as a player, when you back up, you want to back up, right? That's just part of your DNA. You want to go back and help your team out. But if that was taken away from the players, and we're seeing players break down a lot more frequent than we used to, that would certainly alleviate that pressure. And then from rounds 21 to 27, back to playing normal football again. So you get 20 rounds of competing for 2 points. If you can't sort out after 20 rounds who's good enough to go into the semi-finals, well...
So you're suggesting like a mid-season comp?
Like a mid-season comp. It's obviously
like a Panasonic Cup or something.
Well, we play the pre-season comp, right?
Yeah.
And there's 100K up for grabs, and we play the pre-season comp, and we see all these young players come through, and that's it. We don't see them again. Occasionally, we might see 1 or 2 drip-fed through the season. At the mid part of the season, for 6 weeks, put these players back in. Some of them might now have turned 18. Kobe Black for the Broncos, for example, was 17, can't play. Now he's 18, might get an opportunity. Through that period, you're still getting what the broadcasters require. Yeah. Takes the pressure away from the clubs. Takes the pressure away from our greatest players who are putting on the biggest spectacle for us on the Origin period. There's no pressure in regards to what happens at the end of the season in terms of competition points, and then pick it up again. And round 21 to 27, you get a total of 20 games or 20 rounds to try and depict whether you're in the top 8 or not the top 8. And then move on from there.
Yeah, so you're basically pausing the NRL, playing for the 2 points, put in a mid-season comp, play during Origin, and you can choose whoever you want to play. Yep. For the Broncos, for the Titans, for the Cowboys. Correct. Because, I mean, yesterday we saw the Roosters and the effect there was no Teddy there. I mean, Joseph Manu, great. Well, the other thing about it, sorry, Ben, to cut you off.
The other thing about it, the Cowboys are down 6 players. Broncos down 4 players. Melbourne down however many players.
Yeah, Roosters were down 5.
Penrith down 6 players. And then you get teams like the Warriors, the West Tigers, Canberra, who are giving 1 player up. So through this period, they try and manipulate the buys. So Brisbane have 2 buys through the Origin period to try and... Why can't we just press pause and do what I was mentioning? Take the pressure right away from the players feeling as though they've got to back up, and B, the clubs.
I like this. Are you in favour of this? The Corey Parker mid-season competition, it takes the pressure off the clubs, the players to back up, and it gives the NRL a chance to breathe. I'm just trying to think of the sponsorship possibilities. Like as I said,
Ben.
There was the mid-season.
You could sell it as a completely different comp, completely different not broadcasters, but sponsors.
Yeah. Oh, well, it could be a new rights. It could be part of the. It's not about. I like this. 1355 0467 736 736. Pick holes in it if you like. This is what we do.
Yeah. Shorten me up if you need to. It's been done plenty of times before over the weekend.
Or are you happy with the way it is? There's almost an equalisation to this. It gives the chances to the West Tigers, to the Bulldogs to gang up on. Who did they beat? Oh, they obliterated the Knights, didn't they? The Sharks get shortened up by Parramatta.
It also then, if we let's just
the Cowboys can beat the Roosters.
Let's just say hindsight. It happened right now. Well, I read a stat somewhere the other day about how many players are out of the game at the moment. It gives them an opportunity to obviously continue to work on their rehab and get back. What is it? Round 21 was the round I gave to get back to then finish off the end part of the season.